Today I'm going to show you an n8n trick which a lot of people get super confused about. So let's come to that. Very simply, if you see here, again, this is a node for Appify, right? Which is a scraping tool which has a lot of actors and everything else, right? You can search all about it. But if I search here, Appify, I get this Appify node here with this tick icon or something like that. If I go to an n8n cloud instance and if I search for Appify, I get this, which is the option to install a node. So what does this actually mean? And a lot of people ask me this question. So I wanted to very simply, if I search for Appify and you click on install node, it technically installs an npm library, right? Again, now don't get stuck with what is npm and everything else beyond the scope of this, but very simply, this is a node that is technically created by Appify's team, right? And published for anyone to use. And it's published on simply an npm library, which is like this. This is the place where they host all the nodes. Okay, so if I just search for this, you will see there will be a ton of packages like this which show up here. Now, why do these exist? Very simply because n8n has to maintain a massive library themselves. They work on creating their own nodes and everything else, right? So if I search for something let's say Google Sheets, right? Again, this is automatically not created by Google's team, but this is created by the n8n team officially, and that's why it's out of the box present there. But some of the tools that you use and I use are technically just not officially created by n8n team, but created by the companies themselves. So the Appify's team have created a node. Now let's say you want to bring another node, something like that. So you have the option, if you are on the workflow, to just install the node. And now whenever you search Appify, you'll get this and you can add an option. So if I just do this, I can select an option or click or create a trigger, whatever I want, once you click the install node option. But let's say you are not on the cloud version and you have actually self-hosted this. The best way to do that is just come here, come to your self-hosted n8n version and come here and click on settings and just click on settings, and I'm just going to leave without saving. Once you come to settings, you will have to come on the left hand side and select community nodes at the end. Okay, so click on community nodes, and once you are here, you can just click on install. Now once you click on install, you will have to give a package name. Now as you can see, I already have Appify installed here. So I'm going to add another node which I've been trying to add for some time is Firecrawl. I've been looking forward to add that. So I'm going to search for Firecrawl. You can see this, again, it's a custom node created by the Firecrawl scraper, and we can just use this, or I can search for, or you can just go to Google and search for Firecrawl n8n community node. Just search for that, it will give up the most popular option here. Even Firecrawl lists it on their own website, and I would say please just use the official nodes that are created by the companies themselves rather than anything else. So you can see they have already created this, right? Again, and they have a whole guide on how to use this, right? Once you find out that this is the Firecrawl community node, I can just click on this and it will load up here. And I just literally need to just copy this name exactly like this, come back to the installation part, click on install and just put in the name. And once I click this, it will install the Firecrawl node available here. And there is another way also that you can find. So as you can see, this is already installed. This is on version 0.3. But there are also sometimes nodes that are recommended by technically n8n. So if I see this is the one that I've currently installed. But there are also some other popular nodes that you can find, and the best way to find them is just come here and again click on install, and you can search on browse, and you'll see, and you can here search for other nodes which are equally popular. So there would be some created by community which would be kind of not official as such, but still very popular. So for example, if you look at this one, it technically has 154,000 downloads. That means it's pretty popular, and you can technically just also install this. So we can come here, it's the same logic again, and copy and install this. Only thing I would suggest is if it's not needed, don't install custom nodes, because some of them might just not be useful and also mess up with your installation. So that's the only caveat here. But that's pretty much on how to install community nodes. But if you want to know why and how these nodes work, keep watching. Now, just for those who are actually a bit interested to know what do these nodes do and why do we have so many different nodes, they're technically just API calls. Now, I'm just going to keep it simple just for the people who are interested. This is technically what we call, let's say this is the node. Okay, so this is what we call a node. This color thing is a node. In this node, when we are talking about n8n, and these are just API calls. Okay, so in the node, what you're creating is nothing but API calls. So API calls, okay, and these API calls are wrapped inside a node. Okay, so inside a node, you have API calls which talk to the official service, which is very simply, this is the app, right? And this is the app which then connects to the API calls. That's it. And everything goes past through the node, so you don't have to configure the API calls. So the only thing you have to worry is that if you have the node, you can access the app directly. And that's what happens, right? Again, every time, if you think about Google Sheets, this is just API calls. These are just different API calls that are getting me information and all these things. All of this already can be done using an API call, and Google has a massive documentation on it. But to simplify this process, obviously, else n8n would not be so popular, is we have nodes, and then these nodes are created by company who want more people to use their tools, and you guys can directly do that, and you don't have to worry about these API calls. And that's it. That's how simple it is, and that's why nodes exist, and that's why people and companies will keep creating more nodes. So if you're interested, you can also create your own node, though that requires a bit of programming experience and everything else. If you enjoyed watching till here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and also share this video with other people who are learning n8n and help everyone. I'm Akshat Bahety, and I would love to see you in the next one.